G'day legends, welcome to the Pot Noodle on Celtic Down Under. I'm your host Jared, and I'm joined by how can we sum these two up? The two loosest units on this podcast, I reckon. We got Liam and Dan. How you going, Dan?
Oh, even better now. I take that as a sincere compliment to be in
Yeah,
Liam's category.
comes from a place of love. It does. Like if you're in the same rare air that Liam is, it's life goals. How you going, Liam?
But it comes from a place of love. So do most of my most offensive jokes. So just you have been warned.
Well, I was gonna say Liam, I was going to be like, come on, mate, I hope your pot noodle goes cold because, you're running a little late today. So I thought I'd behave myself a bit, but,
Yeah, I have to apologise, guys. I'm sorry I'm late. It was just I was,
too busy having a tug.
I was watching that Callum McGregor goal for the 800th time, and I'd whipped myself up into such a frenzy that I completely forgot what time it was.
All good. First 5 minutes anyway. South Park meme, everyone. That's what Liam was doing. There we go. Yeah.
And rightly so.
You're only human, mate. You're only human. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a different sort of tune to last Monday's pod because we've had a couple of wins. Things are on the up and up. In Martin, we trust. It's going to be a bit of a strange one. So, and plus we get to pick on the Huns, so even better. So we'll just bring some comments here. Heavy vibes are saying, "How boys, happy days are here again." Get to Jan, and hopefully we sign a few good players. Wishful thinking, and a manager too, which we'll discuss later on. Bonnie, g'day. Thanks for tuning in. Same to you. Smell the glove. Andrew Galea, watching from Deniloquid. Oh, you're up at Denny. Nice.
Danny.
Okay. I think, root in the back of a ute. Isn't that the same for Denny? It's one of their favourite things to do up there. Happy days. Enjoy it, mate.
It's funny hearing you guys talk about Denny in Australia because Denny was a wee village about 10 minutes away from where I used to live outside Glasgow growing up.
So, Liam, in Deniliquin, what they have is they have the annual ute muster. And people come from bloody well everywhere with their utes. And it's this massive show. And it's one of the most magnificent things if you're into the mullet hairstyle. It is like God's country for that. It's a class area.
The Denny that I know has one really good fish and chip shop and a lot of places that sell buckfast. So
I thought you were going to say smack, but anyway.
Probably, I don't know. I've not been there for a couple of decades, so yeah, the market might have progressed since the last time I was there,
Smell the glove. Excellent, Jared, and the two militant boys on today. There you go. Dan's even rocking the T-shirt colour for you.
I just took my balaclava off right before we started. But
if we had behind the paywall, you'd have seen it. He had to comb his beard because it was like full on static from his balaclava. Everyone, Liam would get envy. Dominic saying the crayons are getting dusted down. Waiting for a statement. Yeah, it's going to be anyone. There you go. Simon for Denny. You're saying Denny getting a mention. There you go. And there you go, Liam. He's replied to you saying it's still good.
Excellent. I need to have a chippy next time I'm back in Denny.
Craigie White, is that Shea Guevara in today? Smell the glove. Honda Civic 3, red Honda Ulster 1. That was an absolute belter of a tweet.
Yes.
And my missus is coming through. How lads? What a difference since Brendan resigned. We know where her viewpoint on things are. So, I think we'll get into the game, boys. So I'll bring the lineups up to start off with. So I came prepared. I got both teams in one. There you go. So we started with Casper in goals. This is the most ridiculous lineup thing. I'm like, who's playing where? So you got Scales and Trusty at centre backs. You got Srirachi. You got Ralston starting. In the middle of the park, it was Engels, McGregor, and Nigren. And then up front was Tenecti on one wing, Mater on the other, and Johnny Kenny himself the second coming of Henrik, Johnny Kenny up and about. What were your thoughts on the team going into the game, Dan? And yeah,
I thought it was fairly straightforward. I think there was a few people that predicted a fairly similar 11. Talk about Maeda sort of slowly coming back, and some talk about Tierney on the bench. But overall, I thought it was, which still pains me to say, it's probably close to our strongest 11 that we could put out at the moment.
key word there at the moment. What was your thoughts, Liam?
I think the best part of it, and I think this was a big advantage for us going into the game, was the unpredictability of it. Because you know the back four defence, right? But if you look at that midfield, it's like, okay, is Negrin going to be in the midfield? Is he going to be playing like a number 10 role? Where does he fit in? And then you've got Tinekti and Dyson, who could have played on either side. And, then you've got Kenny up front, but also the option that Dyson could possibly play off him as well. If I'm a Hun, thank God I'm not, but looking at that team sheet, I'm like, right, what exactly are they doing today? I don't know. I think that was the beauty of it.
And that was my thoughts, Liam. Like, I wasn't sure what our formation was. I'm like, are we 4-3-3 here? Are we going a 4-4-2? It's a diamond with Tenekti on the left and then Nigren on the right, where speed's not as needed as much out in that formation. And then you've got Kelmack and Engel sitting in there. Or just a normal 4-4-2? Are you going a diamond with Nigren in behind and Kelmack's playing as an 8? Are you looking at that? I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, what's it going to be? Or is it even a 4-2-3-1? Could have even been that.
Yep.
So I wasn't sure looking at it. I'm like, if I'm thinking that, imagine what the Huns are going through. And then to go back to that squad lineup, I'm looking at their squad and I'm going, you got Jack Butland, okay, Tavernier, Suda, he's mince. What's a Chamiti? That was my thought. I'm like, what the hell is that? I don't even know who that is. Because I don't watch them if I don't have to. And then you've got Monday. We know what he's about. Thelo Arsgaard, like looking at him, I'm like. Then you got Cornelius. Those two both should have been red carded, obviously. But then you look at the rest of the team, like Jigga, Magoma, the Rat Skin, and then Danilo. I'm looking at their thing, going, yeah, I'm not fearful of that squad at all. The only thing was when I looked at the squad, I'm like, all right. So you get to the bench, Kelly and Sinisalo, cool, goalkeepers. But then what have they got on the bench that could make a difference here? Probably Miovski and Ant-Man. That's about it, right? And then I look at our one, and you've got who's going to make the difference there? You got Tierney, you've got Forrest, you got Hatade, you got McCowan. So there was more options on the bench looking at that. And I'm like, all right, if this was under Brendan, I wouldn't be as hopeful with the guys on the bench coming in and actually making an impact. But yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one going into the game. So I'll throw to you, Dan. What's your thoughts on the first half overall?
It's interesting. So I thought same sort of questions, whether it was like a 4-2-3-1 with that sort of high pressing. There's a bit of chaos early. That Jigger's clearance that ricocheted off Raskin into the Rangers net was a lovely start, and I thought was real banter years material for a moment there before it was ruled out. Unlike yourself, I do sort of go out of my way to watch a bit of these guys, mostly for comic relief, but also just because I like to know them, and I enjoyed watching. I thought Chamiti had some really big opportunities, and he is utter mince. They paid up to 10 million quid for him. He is utter mince.
Did they pay Monopoly money?
Look, I honestly think it was a favour because Kevin Thelwell paid a shite ton of money to bring him to Everton as well, and then paid a bucket load to Everton to get him to Rangers. So I think he owed someone at Everton a favour. Johnny Kenny, 4 defenders to head in Engel's corner. I've got, it was a clinical finish. I thought we started brightly. There was a bit of chaos after the red card. There was some advantage, but we got a little scrappy at times. After the red card, I thought you could see a little bit of a tactical change in that we got the fullbacks a lot higher up and tried to overload those wide areas, which while we probably didn't see the immediate benefit of that, I think we saw the benefit of that when we went into extra time and the extra running on the 10 men really started to tell. From their side, they dropped to Tavernier deeper to compensate for the loss of Asgard. And I think they sort of hit like a 4-4-1 in that first half. But no, personally, I thought it was fairly straightforward. We were strong. We had a lot of momentum, good opportunities. Probably didn't 100% capitalise, but again, we were pretty strong in terms of keeping them away as well.
Okay, Liam, I know you want to get stuck in, so the floor is yours. But Dan do the serious stuff this time, so now you can cut sick and then reverse it for the
Right.
second.
Okay, well, I mean, I just think in the first 10, 15 minutes, we showed more aggression, more industry, and more physicality against them than we have in probably the previous 5 games against them. We were just getting stuck right in, right from the off. Tackles were flying in. We were standing up to them. Their defence was all over the shop. Every time a ball got put into their box, something could happen here. And then, as Dan says, you get that comedy of errors with Raskin. That I still think that goal should have been allowed. I don't think Dyson was offside because the camera angle that you see for the VAR is, it's more out of order than bloody Andrew Mountbatten. But anyway,
they got the sketch out, Liam, to figure those lines. Let's be honest.
But there is also the sending off, and I think it's quite ironic that Arsgaard gets sent off for going after Tony Ralston's ball guard by the looks of it. But it was great. That first half was great, and my only concern was at halftime we're only 1-0 up because we should have been 3 or 4 up. We were absolutely battering them, and it was the best performance I've seen us put in against any Rangers team since Ange left, I think, really.
Yeah, well, for me, you guys have touched on the most parts, but the key things was that I loved, and we'll get into the change of play and like the way we're playing since Brendan's left a bit later on after we finish the game. So we'll go into that in a bit more detail there. But for me, the thing I'm loving is you look at Ralston. He took a couple of sore ones and he run it out and he took it for the team, and he was celebrating the hardest out of pretty much anyone on the pitch for all the goals, right? So the way I'm looking at it is there looks to be that pep in our step, and it looked like we went out there with some bad intentions because there was times where they clattered us and our guys surrounded them, was a push and shove. We weren't we gave as good as we got. We weren't, being what we've been the last probably half dozen times we played them, where it's just, oh yeah, they come out, they bully us, they have the run of play off the back of it. We actually stood our ground and gave them as much as they gave us. And there was things with the referee over the course of the game, which I'll just say quickly, like some of his decision-making, was it Nick Walsh, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Some of his decision-making, you can tell he's a hun bastard, right? But at the same time, I can tolerate a few bad decisions in an environment like that if he's letting both teams get away with the physicality and he's consistent. And the fact that he went straight for that pocket with that red card in the first half, I was actually shocked. Like, I would look at it and go, that's a red card, guaranteed. But I didn't expect him to give it. So, yeah, it was...
to be fair, it was his second attempt because the Cornelius one should have been a red card as well. So
yeah, no. Yeah, they should have been down to 9 men by half time. But, yeah, the fact that he actually gave a red card, it kind of looked like a return to the old days when it was Celtic versus Rangers, not the zombies that we are playing against now, where they'd get out there and teams would just clatter into each other, and actually it'd be physical football, or the physicality while there was football being played. So, yeah, just in general, I like seeing that, our guys are going out there and they're not shirking the issue, and geez, a week's a long time in football.
Yeah.
Dan,
if you are a Rangers fan, and thank God none of us are, but I think I would be quite encouraged by the fact that they look a lot better than they did in August, as much as we do as well. I think both teams looked a lot better on the park yesterday than they did the last time we played. So there is that.
I definitely agree with that. I was just going to say on the sort of impact and everything. To me, it's almost back to basics and a bit of. And this is going to be a little bit ironic given the Che Guevara chat earlier, but to me, the players look liberated compared to in Rodgers' system. I'm not going to slag Rodgers. Whatever's gone down has gone down. I'm not pro board in any way, shape, or form. But things have gotten stale, and that system felt so rigidly, stubbornly locked onto the way that he was going to play. And I mean, I'm sure we'll come on and talk to Callum Osman and guys like that. There were guys that were not getting a look in very clearly because they weren't going to fit into that rigid system. But I thought Martin opening it up a little bit, whether it's Martin or Maloney, who really knows, like, let's be honest. But there was a lot more fluidity. The players looked like they had a bit of control in what they wanted to do. And then you talk about guys like Trusty and Osman that were seemingly sidelined under the last manager. O'Neill hasn't reinvented the wheel, but he has restored some belief. There's still significant tactical and skill limitations in the squad, and no one's going to overlook that. The board and the investment and the financial discussions are still very much in the picture, and a couple of wins over Falkirk and the Huns don't change that. But Martin has restored some belief, and there is a bit of power in that, particularly in the short term. Tactically, we'll wait and see, but the short-term bounce, it's more than just new manager, let's have some fun. There is a liberation and it seems like Martin sent the guys out there to just go and play a bit of football, whereas it seemed more like Brendan had very rigid, strict control over what he wanted the players to do.
Well, let's just stick to this topic and we can come back to the second half and finish the game off there since we're going into it. So the change of pace and the directness to the way we're playing since Brendan left, like for me, it's one where, as you said, Dan, the players look like they don't have to play as strictly within a system. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like Martin and Maloney are saying to them, go out there. This is the shape we want to play. Express yourself. That's what it looks like. Get out up and down and be aggressive. Win the ball back. That's what it looks like to me. What do you think, Liam?
Yep, there's a few people in the comments are saying, yep, strike first, strike hard, no mercy. Yeah. No, I think that's it exactly. We look like a team, as Dan said, liberated. Just players could go out and express themselves, and we could do what we do best. And every player, that's the thing, it was so hard to pick a man of the match yesterday because, I think Scales was brilliant. I thought that particular interception he made on Gassama late on in the game, Trusty had a good game. Despite the fact that apparently he tried to kill the Rangers goalkeeper, according to some of the things I've been reading online today. But apart from that, he had a good game. Dyson was good. Tunekti was good in the first half. Johnny Kenny gets his goal, which was well deserved. Osman comes on and is brilliant. And the setup for Osman's goal was vintage Kieran Tierney as well. So everybody looks to be just back to their best and all at the right time.
It's not even that they're back to their best, Liam. It's like some of these players didn't get a chance to get out of first gear this season. And that's something that I've got as one of the next things I wanted to discuss was the club signings stepping up under Martin O'Neill. Like Dan mentioned Trusty and Osman before. Like they couldn't even get on the field. We still need to see Bernardo, right? But looking at it, Calmac, now he's got Engels alongside him. He looks free because he's got someone there to do half his running for him. The same way Calmac did Bruni's running for him. The last 3 or 4 games, he's actually started to look like himself again. So you've got that. Engels is actually looking the part as well. Like, have a look what he did. Like the corners and his delivery from free kicks and corners and stuff like that. And then his positioning and intercepting. He's doing well. He's looking every bit of the player we spent that crazy amount of money on. But then guys like Johnny Kenny, who's our only fit actual striker, he was for a little bit there when Maeda was out and Osman couldn't get in the squad. Now, He's up 3 goals in the last 2 games. And he's looks like he's completely full of belief. And now I'm seeing the player that Shamrock Rovers had last season. And I mentioned it previously. There was a guy at the Ange Postecoglou CSC down here who was on holiday, and he played against him over in the League of Ireland. He was telling me he's a hard bastard. He doesn't mind getting kicked and thumping people around, but boy, can he finish when he's under pressure. And we saw that last night, beating 4 guys for a near post header across the goal. That's not an easy thing to do. So he's looking full of belief and he can do it. And then Jared has claimed Kun and Jota and all these guys in the past, and I'm claiming Callum Osmond. What a player! You know what? I'm gonna go out on a tangent here, Liam. We've been talking about where's Kyogo's replacement. His movement, Kyogo-esque.
Yeah.
The way he presses, the way he can go out wide but then drift in, and that last goal where he just looked, so he was onside, checked his run, got onside, and then went hard and ran in case he was needed to tap that cross in, not because he needed to be there. He ran in case he was needed. That's what we've been missing up front. Callum Osmond, some player. Now, where's Shin? That's all I'm going to say. It's the other one. But, yeah, I'm claiming him. Osmond's my boy. The first player I've actually claimed on this pod.
Yeah.
Does that mean you're not claiming Marco Tilio anymore?
I did my penance with Tilio, and besides Tilio, I backed him in. I didn't claim him like that.
It was good, just good to clarify, that's all, sorry.
Yep. I wore a bloody tiara because of that prick. Anyway. So, yeah, what are you guys thinking about the club signings stepping up, and who else are you looking forward to seeing under this management team?
Can I just take umbrage with the phrase club signings, because Dermot was very clear in the rambling manifesto that he released that there's no such thing as a club signing, mate.
Did you not see this doing the Neil Lennon exclamation marks when I said club signing first time?
In my defence, I actually didn't, but
bloody program flog, jeez.
Someone's got to stick up for Dermot Desmond around here.
Of course, the one that has some sort of moustache.
Would somebody think of the billionaire?
If he listens to this on the golf course tomorrow, he's going to be apoplectic.
No. Just don't be late with his tea time. Yep.
Never.
Now, well, that's the thing, though, right? We've had a great week. Team's turned around, it seems. But Desmond's still a prick for putting that statement out. Right? He still is. And a lot of the problems that are being blamed on Rodgers still rest on the board. And I think we can't lose sight of that. I don't want to get negative. This is a day for celebration, a day for hun scalping. But we need to keep our eyes on the bigger picture. We need to be aware that it's he is still part of the problem. He can, if he chooses to become part of the solution, but at the moment, he's still part of the problem.
Come on, Liam. Come on, I'm going to have to bring this up now. I was going to do it later on. This is going to be my final thought, but I'll go with it now. What are you talking about? They put new banners on the stadium. It's all bright and green. What more do we want? Like, have a look at this. Where is it? Yeah, it didn't want to work. I was trying to find the Tom Rogic in it, but I didn't upload that. But anyway. But, we got new banners. It's all green. They're hiding the rust and everything. Like, come on. Give him a breather. And we're winning games. We beat the Huns. Give him a breather.
Prince Andrew's got a new name and he's still a fucking nonce.
I'm
just saying, you can change the decoration, but you can't change what's underneath.
I just had to, just off the back of that. Look, they've done that. But as you're saying, Liam, like a lot of the issues at the clubs, I said last week that Brendan had to go, all right? I was at that point with him. We needed to see a change on the pitch. But it's two separate issues. It's on the pitch, and then it's everything else. And there's still all those issues off the pitch that we've got to get to. There's some talk of a couple of people leaving from the board and new people coming in and turn the leaf and blah, blah, blah. Great. We'll see all that when it happens. But at the same time, we still need to sign players and get our recruitment better. We still need to fix the youth academy. We still need to, everything else that was being discussed. We still need better communication. Celtic TV is absolute garbage. Like, there's still heaps of things that need to be fixed. But I'm putting all that to the side for a moment because I want to enjoy that we beat the Huns
Yes.
and Martin's got us players actually playing, actually getting out there and wanting to play football, and that's enjoyable. I said last week that it's hard to get up in the middle of the night and watch games when you're just going to get horseshoed to death and fall asleep halfway through it. Now at least I know we're going to get out there and have a crack.
That's the thing. The Falkirk game last Thursday morning, our time. That's the first time in about 6 months I've actually got up middle of the night to watch a Celtic game. It was like 4:30 in the morning here, but I was like, I'm really excited to see what this new Celtic lineup is going to be like, and I was not disappointed.
Yeah. So what we've been talking about, Martin O'Neill coming back, the return, and the impact he's had on the team. The other one I want to mention is Sean Maloney. Like, the way it looks to be set up is Martin's the figurehead. He's like the headmaster, and then you've got Sean Maloney doing the main guy coaching on the park day in, day out. And during the game, and this is going to tie us back into the second half, so we can go to you, Dan, and we can talk about the second half and everything. Is there was times when you could hear Maloney screaming at the players, and then there was when they went to extra time, who was talking to the players before that all started? It was Maloney. So we'll give him credit where it's due. I still want him back in that pathways role. I don't want him to be our full-time manager, and we're going to get into who and the full-time manager once we finish the game talk. But for me, I just got to give him his props too. It's good to see him out there and having an impact in a positive way too. So, yeah, Dan, if you want to go on the second half, finish that off for us.
Absolutely. I would agree with that. For all the criticism of Maloney's management history at Wigan and Hibs, I've heard very little criticism about him as a coach and a man motivator. So I do want him to be part of the setup. I just, question marks over the management. Second half, I thought there was some big shifts in momentum. Rangers pressed really aggressively. They were really physical. They were quite cynical. Through a penalty, I don't know. I've given up trying to tell whether handballs are handballs or not anymore. I have no idea. You hear all sorts of ex-referees, and I don't know whether you just
I'm like,
let me talk.
Let me talk about the penalty for a second. All right. So everyone's like, I don't know if it's a penalty, if it's a handball. I don't know those rules. And great, I can't figure that out for the life of me, right? Like, the thing that shits me about it, have a look at how he fell in that position, end up in that position as he's falling. He had to put an arm down to brace for impact, or he spent a face plant on the ground because he got, was it Miofsky or something like that? He got tripped over by, and he got fouled before he fell onto the ball. So isn't it supposed to be the first incident that gets penalised or gets the call for him? So realistically, we should have won the free kick.
I agree. And you talk, like, to me, the letter of the law is around the natural and unnatural position. Well, how is that not natural to put your hand down when you fall into the ground? But I give up. To me, they might just be doing a lottery up in the VAR room and deciding yay, nay, I don't know. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it personally, because I'm just like, all right, what the fuck, whatever. It's not all positives. I thought our attack was a bit blunt on occasions. Negrin and Maeda could be quite wasteful. We've said that a lot about Negrin and Maeda, to be fair. But Negrin sort of seems to be the guy that needs 5 or 6 chances to score a worldie, which is fine if you're getting a lot of chances, but it could be an issue. And I was really disappointed with Rholl Hatate again. I thought he was quite anonymous in the middle of the park, to be honest. We spoke about the benefits of putting in Engels beside Calmac, but still very little from Rholl. Looking forward, there's some really good critical interventions, some efforts by Liam Scales. I thought, to give them some credit, they were very physical and quite up for it in disrupting our rhythm, despite being down to 10 men. We dominated the corners. We dominated the territory. The cutting edge, not quite there until extra time. Jamesy Forrest and Kieran Tierney coming on, I thought there was a little bit more directness and width around the way we went at them then with Tierney on the left, sort of hugging the touchline, and Jamesy out on the right. I thought for quite extensive periods in that second half, we were a bit of almost like a narrow 4-4-2 in attack, which I don't know whether anyone else noticed that, but for me, I thought that was interesting to see. It was very old school to sort of go into that diamond with the width, particularly while Rangers went into like a 4-3-2 and used that sort of Diamande and Tavernier through the middle and onto the right. Look, overall though, just like lack of cutting edge in the 90 minutes was probably the only drawback. We had the opportunities.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's the only negative of yesterday for me is that we didn't kill them off in 90 minutes. The penalty, I'm like you guys, I don't know. Because the way Ralston's falling, and again, I've not seen a clear enough angle of this on TV either. If his elbow isn't there, I think the ball possibly hit him in the ribs or in the belly, in which case you can't really say that it's blocking a direct goal scoring opportunity, because if he didn't have an arm, it's going to hit his body. So, it was a weird one. But anyway, we still beat them, so it's all right. But yeah, the game we should have been 3 or 4 up by that point, because our level of control showed that. They did come out in the second half and fight really hard, but ultimately I think that's all they did. They had fight, they showed character, and I'll give them respect for that. But the footballing ability was all coming for Celtic.
As McLaughlin saying in the comments, must admit I was uneasy at points they were troubling us.
Yeah.
And then Andrew Galea saying, never a penalty. And Heavy Vibes are saying, every week they gave reasons why that's not a penalty. And then Robert Gibson is saying, Ralston fell and tried to turn his back. He never even saw it hit him. Absolute horseshit of a pen.
Mm.
McLaughlin saying, if it's a pen, it's a red card in my view. They changed that rule a couple of seasons ago, the double jeopardy rule. So now you can just get a yellow for that if you give away a penalty.
That's the thing. Ralston was already on a yellow, so
yeah, so it would have been off anyway. But yeah, it was it's a bit of an interesting one. Like I don't really get it. Like that penalty was just not one, as I said, because of the foul before it, which is what got him there. But as you said, Liam, we should have been probably 3 goals up at half time. We should have been at least 3 or 4 ahead. The only reason it went to extra time is because of a bullshit pen. We could have held out. I didn't see them challenging us in anything in open play. So yeah, it was a bit of an interesting one, really. So interesting second half, because you think the run of play and the way it was played out that there would have been more goal scoring chances. Both keepers made some good saves, but that was about it.
Do you know, something I would add to that, right? See, when it went to extra time, I remember, you know, I had a season ticket at Celtic the first time Martin O'Neill was there. And I remember there was a lot of games where we were either drawing or losing at half time, but there was always this belief that, okay, it's all right, we'll turn it around, we'll come out and win. You know, that belief was always there. And 99 times out of 100, that's what happened. We came back and we won, right? And that same belief came back to me in extra time yesterday, because as soon as they got the penalty and they scored it, you know, my dad was like, oh God, this is the cup final all over again, into a game that we should have put to bed, you know, a long time ago, and now it's gone to extra time. But the difference was we were still hungry, we were still pressing, and they were absolutely dead on their feet. See, if regulation time would have ran another 5 minutes, we would probably still have scored a couple of goals, because they were running on absolute fumes by the end of it, and it shows in how quickly we did take the lead once extra time came around.
On that, Liam, I'm just gonna say something pretty simple. Yeah, if there was extra time, a bit longer, yeah, we probably would have won it. But the thing is, yeah, they were out on their feet, but I don't think it would have been much of a difference anyway. No matter, even if they had like 20 extra, if they had 20 players on the pitch, by that point we hadn't broken.
No.
And the thing that saying about the old Martin O'Neill days and last time where you just always had that belief, and yeah, I remember those days. But what that reminded me of yesterday, it's going to sound really weird, was we get a penalty, dodgy penalty against us, and in the past we've just lost it, we've bottled it, we've like cracked the shits. Oh, things are against us, and we drop our bunch, right? That reminded me of, I think it was in Lenny's first stint. Remember that game where was borderline to get sacked, and we came back from 3-0 down to win 4-3. The Kilmarnock game.
Yeah.
There was a dubious goal in that game. I can't remember if it was their second or third one, but we just looked angry in that game after that, and we come and scored all those goals. And that extra time after that penalty, our players looked pissed off. Like, now we've got to play an extra 30 minutes of football because you made an absolutely stupid fucking decision. We'll show yous. And we just went to another level and wore them out. That's what that looked like to me. At the moment, that's the game it reminded me of.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point. I think I think that's an excellent example.
Yes, it's my first time I actually did a good one.
It certainly looked like it woke us up.
Yeah.
We'd sort of drifted in a little bit. I think it's almost like we sort of expected. They've been down to 10 for so long, they're going to really start to tire. We've put the running in and we've got the extra width now. We're really punishing them with that. I think we were just sort of waiting for the opportunity to kill them, and it didn't quite come in 90 minutes, which is frustrating. But as you said, by the time it went to extra time, it was fairly quick, and we went, right, this is happening, and it's getting done and dusted pretty quickly.
Just going to bring up some comments here. Heavy Vibes says the ref broke up our play more than Rangers did.
Yep.
In a Hype is saying, reckon Martin can get Tierney playing like Alan Thompson. What do you think on that, Liam?
That would be something. Yes, that I would love to see that. I think Sriracha is a candidate for that as well, though.
Yeah.
I like Sriracha.
Yes.
Yeah. Sign him up. Get it done on a permanent. Make it happen. He's good. Good quality player. The other thing, Smell the Glove's got this comment. Our leaders turned up yesterday. Calmac, Casper, Scales, Trusty.
Yes.
I'd even lump Dazen into that.
Aye. The amount of tackling back that Dyson was doing was phenomenal.
Well, it's like we haven't seen that for a couple of months this season. He looks like a weight's off his shoulders too. And yeah, as long as we get the next manager appointment right, I actually wouldn't be shocked to see him stay with us until the end of the season.
That would be great.
And that would be the best. Liam would be late for the next, podcast every week the rest of the season if Dazen's still in that number 38 Celtic top. Yeah, so Fan 1967 tick saying, can he deny O'Neill has given these players confidence? Trusty, Sriracha, Kenny, Osmond, players who Rogers refused to give proper game time and have been brilliant. As I said earlier, I want to see Bernardo in that group as well. I want to see Shin added to that mix, even Inamura. Sit those guys. I want to see what we've got there. Because let's look at it this way: if Sriracha does well and Inamura can be his backup, then we could actually, with Tierney's legs going the way they are, let's see if we can transition him into another role in the squad. How would you see, have 2 6s, Calmac or Engels, Tierney? Just throwing an idea out there. What do you think? Because we invert anyway, so...
Picture this, right? Once everybody's fully fit, you've got Tierney, Scales and Trusty as a back three. Obviously, Tierney on the left side of the back three. You've got Sriracha going down one flank. You've got Alistair Johnson going down the other. You've got Engels and McGregor holding it together in midfield. You've got Negron playing just in front of them. And then you can pick any two of Kenny, Osmond, Shin, Iheanacho as your front two. We can finally play with 2 strikers again. And it makes the most of the players that we've got available right now. That's before we even sign anybody in January. And you think about that, what a team that would be potentially.
Yep, that would be class, and it's back to the old O'Neill system, the 3-5-2. We know he loves that system. Yeah, so going to be a bit of an interesting one here. There you go, McLaughlin saying, I doubt Maedis plays yesterday if Rogers is still here.
I doubt most of the team play yesterday if Rogers is still here.
Yep, exactly. So, yeah, we've discussed. So, overall, we'll just go through it. Your man of the match, who would it be?
Scales. It's close though. Engels is up there, Cal Mack's up there, Trusty's up there, but it's Liam Scales for me.
Balaquisha coming on for the last minute or so, I thought he was really strong with the.
Magnificently right in front of the Rangers fans. You noticed that, right?
Yeah, if you're going to give that answer, then I'm going to say Martin O'Neill's tracksuit was the man of the match.
Oof. Can we hurry up and get rid of the board so this merchandise embargo ends? Because I need that whole tracksuit. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I could see you walking down the bloody shops. You going down the shops wearing that whole get-up. I can just...
Coppers and all, mate. Coppers and all. I noticed Martin was still wearing the coppers up on the gantry too, post-game. Just, that's staunch, fellas. That's real staunchness, not bullshit staunchness.
Yep.
No, I'll give my man of the match to Callum Osman. A goal on debut. Take it, son. And not just club debut, but first team debut, professional football debut. Absolutely get the fuck in. Celebrated with a special mention, as you said, Scales, McGregor, Engels. I thought Trusty was really good. The Scales-Trusty partnership, underrated. Everyone speaks about how good it was against Atalanta last year. We don't see it a lot. Underrated, even though you're moving Trusty to the right. And Johnny Kenny, given the blowing, what a way to do it. What a way to do it.
I look at it, you guys have covered everyone I was going to say. So, yeah, I think it was pretty class. But the thing I want to touch on what you said about the Scales and Trusty centre-back pair in there, Dan. Under Ange, we had two right-footed centre-backs together. CCV, Starfelt, it worked well, right? Brendan have to have a right side, have to have a left side. So he would not play Scales and Trusty together. Yeah, two left-footers together, so what? You've got Scales who puts his head everywhere it's not supposed to be, and you've got Trusty who's quicker than most centre-backs. Makes sense. So, yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Like, I think it was a fair effort. I was going to give Ralston a big up him for just being that warrior running out the game after copping the knock early on. If that was Stephen Welsh.
Random Stephen Welsh drive-by on a Monday night.
Couldn't help it.
It's totally unexpected. I was like, all the usual digs, and then, by the way, Stephen Welsh, go fuck yourself.
I have to throw that in there because it's against the Huns. How many times have you seen him cop a little knock and bottle it and go off? Right? Against them in particular. Yet Ralston is a Scottish national right back. He doesn't get anywhere near enough respect because, he's no Alistair Johnson. He's not the most technical and he's not the most athletic. But boy, does he work hard. So I'll give him his flowers too.
Yeah, well deserved. And I think someone in the comments mentioned it as well, but big shout out to Jack Butland for the absolute dog shit keeping on the Calmac shot. I loved it, but as a keeper, part of me was like, what the fuck, mate? Where are the hands? What are you doing?
He thought he was Barkas with his cabbage hands. That's what it was.
You know exactly what went through my mind was that, what's the goal done? What's the goal done? That's all I could think of. I was like, someone get on the rabble quick because I need to hear this. But
I want to see the behind the goals replay of that goal because there must have been some movement in that ball. Because it's not just power that takes it in from there. It was as if butt plug went one way, then the ball went the other. To be honest,
I haven't seen a good behind the scenes shot, but there's one sort of to the right and there didn't. I mean, it's a bad angle for it, but I didn't see a great deal of movement. He was in the area, and it was just sort of like he kind of put his hands up and around the area, but not with any conviction. It was really poor keeping. If you're going to go for it, it was almost like he was trying to turn his body when you obviously want to be and keeping yourself front facing and move across. But it was technically it was really poor. It was fucking hilarious. Let's be honest. But
there it is. Butland did a Barkers. Here we go. Welsh got injured watching the game.
We loaned him outright. We didn't sell him, did we? We loaned him in.
He's out of Motherwell. He's playing at his level, let's be honest. Andrew Galea is saying this about Butland. He's a shit keeper. That's why he's at the Huns. Yep.
5 minutes ago, he was going to get a game for England, according to the Daily Hun and a few other rags.
Yeah. Great fun. So we've got to give credit to Kelmack's goal. We haven't touched on that, but what a friggin' howitzer from the car park. Class. Yeah. And then there was that other one. Who was it? Jamesy that hit the crossbar as well.
Yeah.
And then it come back, and then he's put one into row double F or something like that at the stadium. It was class. It was like Ryan Christie on the follow up, but there's a drive by for you as well. But no, it was Kelmack's goal class.
Aye. That James Forrest one though, that had so much not only does it hit the bar, it comes down and then the keeper kind of sits on it. It's it could have gone anywhere and it somehow ends up under Buttmunch's arse. It could have gone anywhere.
He hatched it, Liam.
Aye.
He's laying an egg.
Oh God. Aye.
Shout out too for the pretty much a straight 4-4-2 in extra time when we had Osman and big wee Kenrick up front.
Why not? Why not go 4-4-2? No one else plays that these days.
I made the joke, I think, the last time I was on when we had the emergency pod, and I said, we did the old Mike Bassett, we'll play 4-4-2. So it was nice to see a little bit. And it was almost Tierney as a left winger at that point. You talk about how you get Srirachi in the game. Tierney was almost a left winger at some points there.
Dan, if I'd have known you were going to mention Mike Bassett again, I would have got the DVD out of the back room there, so I would have had a prop for you.
Mate, that was the other thing. That was the other thing I really liked. Martin said something about getting some Henrik Larsson DVDs for it was Osman or Kenny. I can't remember which one. And I thought, first off, not going to know who Henrik Larsson is, but second off, he's not going to know what a fucking DVD is.
Let's get the VHS out.
Newfangled cassette tape players. Is it a compact disc you call it? Is that what it is?
Let's get the VHS out and then get some Paul McStay highlights on a beta, whatever, and make Arne Engels watch that. Perfect.
Chef's kiss.
There you go. So, Gordon Strachan is saying that the next Celtic manager won't be available until December. So, what do you think that means he's referring to? There's a few options here I'm just going to throw out for you. So, obviously, the main one is Kettle Knudsen. He's out of contract December 31. If we can sign him up, I would be like, cool, keep Martin and Maloney in place until end of the year. Get him in, get some signings in, and off we go, right? Be perfect. Other managers who are out of contract or have out clauses available at that same time. Kevin Muscat, Wilfred Nancy, who's over at Columbus Crew in the MLS. Then there's Lee Carsley, who is England under 21 manager, but apparently he's available. And then this one, Liam, I'm throwing this one because I just want to see your face on this now. Robbie Keane.
I would sooner cut off my genitals with a rusty bread knife than let that guy anywhere near the Celtic manager hot seat.
Dan missed that with his headphones off. That was...
I was doing a walkout and I've missed the best line of the show by the sound of it.
Rusty genital amputation, Dan. That's pretty much what he was...
I said I would sooner cut my bollocks off with a rusty bread knife than let that guy become the next Celtic manager.
I'll line up behind you. He can get to fuck.
Yeah, don't want him. Smell the Glove is saying December. Still hoping Nicky Hayen has enough points for Bruges in Champions League for a top 24 and comes. So there's an option there. Robert Gibson saying Nuncy looks like P. Diddy.
He kind of does, yeah. My only thought with him, I know nothing about him. Obviously, I'm not watching a heck of a lot of MLS, but the Nancy boy sort of, the jibes write themselves. Like, you're setting yourself up for a bad time if he goes wrong.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's got kind of shades of Ronnie Dyla about it. I think there's probably a good manager in there, but maybe not quite yet.
I'm going to go down this path, though. If you want to get a French manager from within who's been in something similar to the City Group sort of setup, yeah, I'd rather Patrick Vieira than Nuncy.
It's an interesting one.
That's just me going off on a random tangent here.
I mean, I want it to be Knudsen, right?
Yeah.
I really want it to be Knudsen. I don't know. I just don't trust the board. I mean, but they've got the interim appointment so right. It seems like it's very early, but it seems like they got it right. So should I have faith? I've been hurt. I don't trust easy.
Well, let's figure this out for a second. If we go with the whole process here where, all right, we're looking for Knudsen, right? And he comes in, great. If he doesn't come in, I've already said I want that director of football thing. Say if Martin is to go up, once this is over, back into a director of football role, Maloney's to go back into the pathways. We bring in someone like McKenna from Ipswich, for instance, to be that young up and coming manager in the Ronnie mold, but he's got Martin there as someone that he can pick his brain and as a mentor. It could work. The only way that would work, though, is if the rumours are true and Peter Lawwell is resigning from the board because of his health concerns, and his spot in the European Club Association board is going to be taken by Michael Nicholson. Apparently, the talk is he's going that way. Then you bring in, Sue Whelan from Leicester, who's their CEO, to take over for Nicholson. And then you say if you get someone like Willie Horry or someone like that to come in as your chairman, if they do all that change, I'm good with it. If it's a lesser experienced manager. Otherwise, I want Knudsen.
Do you know, I've only got one concern with Knudsen, right? Because excellent manager, excellent record, plays a good style of football. But I wonder how much of his success is down to him being a great manager or Bodo just being a really well-run club. Because I do worry that if you put him into Celtic, he might not get all the same resources that he does at Bodo. And that's where problems could arise.
Yeah, well then if that's the case, my second options has always been Marco Rosa. But then we could sign him tomorrow. He's out of work.
My dream team, and I've been consistent, that's my dream team is Ange as director of football and Muscat as the coach. It's not a popular move, but I think that would be really effective.
Well, Ange is getting 2 payouts still, so he doesn't really need the cash, does he?
No.
Let's be honest, though. Getting Muscat involved somewhere really plays into the banter years.
Yes. Yeah.
He's only a 10-minute hun. Just be honest. That's all he is.
Yeah, but I've got other problems with Mr. Muscat that I need not remind you about.
Shut up, Dan.
His Australian allegiances and overall cuntishness against Sydney FC in particular.
You guys are dirty rat bastards, so who cares? Anyway. We'll get back to the Celtic talk. Otherwise, we'll go off on a tangent here. And
here's another Australian person I hate because of Sydney FC. No.
Yeah. So, last thing is the next game coming up. We've got Midtjylland Thursday night in the Europa League. Liam, what are your thoughts for that? How do you think it's all going to happen?
It's interesting because Celtic have kind of up until recently, not been playing to the level we should, whereas Beachland have been playing vastly above the level they should. They're top of the group so far. I could see us getting a draw over there. I think it'll be a really good. I think it could be like a 2 each or something. I could see both teams scoring. Yeah, I'll go for a 2 each draw.
What are you thinking, Dan?
Oh, 2-1 Celtic win. Let the Martin O'Neill good times roll. I can't see them not winning. It's kind of frustrating that we can't involve Mr. Callum Osman. But, Martin makes the best out of what Martin has, and in Martin I trust. So.
I'm just having a look at their squad now, right? And there's not many names that jump off the page. There's just one blast from the past sort of thing. A certain person by the name of Chogu Sung. Anyone remember him?
The Korean that we were supposed to sign before we signed. Oh, yeah.
Exactly. I didn't realize he was there. So I'm like, okay, it'll be interesting to see what it's like when we get him.
Well, the funny thing is, at the time that we signed most Asian football sort of journalists, and I agreed with this take. They were all saying, "Look, we signed the wrong Korean. Cho's the better striker." But since then, Cho's kind of gone sideways, and O's stock has really gone up since he left Celtic. So it's kind of he's going to have a point to prove in a couple of different ways when he plays against us. So that's an interesting one.
Yeah. There's a question here from Andrew Galea. Can we put in injury replacements in our Europa squad? No, we can't. We've got a 25-man squad or 24-man squad plus a B list. Can't make those changes. If we don't have enough players from our A list to fill out the bench, we've got to fill it with guys who are playing in the Lowland League week in, week out. So that'll be fun.
We can change it out for the knockout stages, though, can't we? If we get past this group.
I think you're allowed to make 2 changes or something like that. 2 or 3 changes, maybe. So, yeah, we'll see how that all plays out. But, yeah, not ideal. But, yeah, going into the game against Midtjylland, I'm thinking we'll go over there. We play the way we played against the Huns. Bit of physicality. Let the guys get out there and actually play. Yeah. It's always a tough place for us to go, Midtjylland. But, yeah, I think we'll come home with at least a point. Maybe that's a 1-1 or a 2-2. It's going to happen, but, yeah. We won't keep a clean sheet. And, yeah, we'll get it sorted. But, yeah, I think we could potentially pick up the points. Smell the guy saying Osman has played Lowland, so he can come into the Euro squad. I don't know if he's not on our B list because he's not club developed and everything. I actually have the squad. Hang on, I'll bring it up. Bear with me a second.
Yeah, I think he's in that same grey area as our 2 Japanese boys, unfortunately.
Yeah, he is. Because he's not. I've got the squad here. So this is our registered Europa League squad. So up front, the strikers, we've got a Kenny and Iheanacho, Maeda, Balakusha, Tenekti, Yang Forest. So that's all our options up front. Middle of the park, McGregor, Hatade, McCowan, Negron Angles, Bernardo. At the back, Ralston and Johnson, Carter Vickers, Murray, Scales, Trusty, Tierney, Sirachi, and then the goalkeepers, Schmeichel, Sinosalo, Doohan. So, yeah. I don't think we'll be seeing Osmond by the looks of it.
No, that's a shame.
But anyway, we'll get to see, Kenrick dominate in Europe. And, yeah, it's going to stick. That's going to stick. Absolutely. So, yeah, I think we'll start to wrap the pod up there. We've got a final thought ready to go, Liam.
Yeah, well, I don't actually have like a joke or anything ready today, but I just want to say thanks to the viewers who've supported me on the 1 Foot Forward campaign this year. Raised, I think, about $150. So thank you, everybody that's been supportive of that. And apologies that I haven't done the full 500 yet, but I will. Trust me, it will be done. But thank you, everybody.
Good work, Liam. Dan, you got a final thought?
I really don't. Just I'm enjoying the nostalgia. Just enjoy the trying to make. How can I make it as philosophical as possible? Enjoy the. I'm enjoying watching Martin O'Neill manage Celtic in 2025 with my 3-year-old son, as I watched Martin O'Neill when I was in my early teens with members of my family. It's a nice little moment. It's weird. It's wacky. It's probably one of the wackiest weeks in Celtic history. The way it's all gone down. But that combined with the surreal possibility that we could have 3 different managers from the quarter-final to the semi-final to the cup final.
Aye.
That's it's wild at the moment, and yeah, just enjoy it. It's so much better than it was.
Who gets the medal if we win then?
I can see Brendan being there ready to get one just in case.
Oh God!
Dermot there ready to hand it to him. Just patch up for old time's sake.
And Lenny will be hiding in the showers somewhere just in case.
You never know when a job offer might pop up. I think Dunfermline did beat Ayr the other week, didn't they? So he should be in the running.
Yeah, there you go. Well, my final thought's pretty simple. In St. Martin we trust.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Hail, hail, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, we'll be back later in the week for our next pod. See you then.
Hail, hail.
Hail, hail. Not sure I just meant why I went full hail there.